Morning. It's really good to be back here after all 3 years, seeing all the good friends, old friends, and new faces. Thank you for the branded team and Jasper for making this happen again. I know it's been a tough 3 years for a lot of people, but here this morning I'd like to share a view of what we have achieved during the pandemic in China in terms of the live business that we've been driving for the past 3 years, and hopefully with this sharing you can also learn some of our insights, and maybe there will be an angle that we can collaborate going forward. So let's start. So since the pandemic, we have actually engaged in a lot of the online live events. Before the COVID, it's a lot of live, offline, like what we are here today. But during the pandemic, we actually did a lot of things online, and mostly things online. I will share some data later. But if you look at what we have achieved in the past 3 years later, you'll see the path that we've created from a pure offline live concert business to a future which is more of a online and offline combined, which we have recently experienced and gotten some pretty good success out of it. Out of which we've done about 150 A-list artist shows we've done in the past 3 years, all very big names later, which I will show later. And out of that was about 300 plus different artists out of the 150 shows, which out of that is about 150 A-list artists, sorry about that, and which is kind of involved of countries and regions across different places, 15 of them out there. So really a big effort from TME and TME Live driving this business in China, and we've proudly to say that we've recently, I think, discovered the path to success. Although we've been spending a lot of money and investment in this business. We're still not making money yet, but we think we've built a platform which will help the artist to create something new in terms of business revenue and opportunity in China. So we started in March 2020, just at the beginning of the pandemic. Started with Rainy Yang. We wanted to do this because obviously back then everyone was in a very difficult state. We want to do something that we can cheer people up, we can have artists still be active and doing things. And fortunately back then, I think Taiwan was still pretty under control in terms of the pandemic situation. So we started with Rainy in a very small kind of a factory outlet where we shot the show out there, and it's small, but it inspired a lot of people. And then followed by that, we had the big name of Andy Lau, which is one of the biggest artists out of Hong Kong, and then by Jessie J. She was actually in the Voice of China show back then, so a lot of traction for her in China. So we did one show with her. And then we started doing a big events of music festival, which we did with Tomorrowland. We did 3 shows with Tomorrowland with them in China, online again, millions of viewers. And Ava Max, followed by that, JJ Lin, and Ed Sheeran, Adele, Jay Chou. Jay Chou is actually a replay or a re-show of something that he did before, which he recorded back in 2008 and 2013. But again, we've gotten a lot of viewers. I think for the Jay Chou show, we got about 100 million viewers in the 2 days of shows, which we kind of re-showed. And we did also do some survey afterwards and asking people, have you ever seen this show before? And 90% of those people say they've never seen it before. So to them, an old show from 2008 and 2013 is something that's new to 90% of people who've seen this show from TME Live Online. And then also looking at what we have achieved in terms of different business models. So we started with Rainy Yang, which is free and not even sponsors. And later on, we started to add sponsors like Intel, Sprite, all different international, and also local brands like Ely, Milk, and all that. And then we started getting into how we can get users to pay. So we achieved that with the J.J. Lin show about a year and a half ago, which was a very big hit in terms of the box office for J.J. and his team. And then we started doing more international live shows, and then, like I mentioned, for the J-Chow, we started looking to what was recorded before, but how can we represent it to the audience in China, which 90% of them has never seen these shows before. So along this line, since the beginning of 2019 until now, which is about going for its third year, we are actually pushing a lot of different boundaries and a lot of different new models as well. So, as I mentioned, we have included or involved about 150 A-list artists in these shows, which is about 300 plus different shows that we've done in the past 3 years. We're talking about 100 shows every year, big or small. And out of that, we've reached about 4.1 billion audiences. Obviously, most of them are overlapped or the same user, but they watch all these shows over and over again, and different shows that they like, and they are there constantly all the time. And then we work about more than 100 plus well-known sponsors, which is a big business model for us. We have, as I said, Sprite, Intel, Ely, you name it. And we also have different collaborations with big other brands such as NBA and things like that. So we are continuing to look into how we can build that part of sponsoring business going forward. At the same time, obviously, ticket sales and other business model, which I will introduce later, as the different or diversified business model going forward. And the largest audience cloud for one single show, as I mentioned, is the J-Chow show, which is 50 million plus for one single show in a 2-hour span. So great outreach in terms of audiences if anyone wants to kind of get to their fans and audiences even during the pandemic, even during only an online event, concert. And then looking the social heat of what we have achieved. So Weibo being the big social platform of sharing and hashtagging and all these different things. We actually have views of all these different data, which I don't want to go into a lot of details. Basically, what we're trying to say is because we have such a huge amount of users in China and audiences in China, doing a live show, a recorded live show, a replay of the past show can actually get you a lot of tractions and attentions in China. Okay, so that is something that we've achieved, and a lot of the artists, I think just now earlier in the presentation of Adam's video, there was a show of Cindy Wang. So Cindy was actually in a variety show, in a live kind of variety show in China, but out of that, actually, a lot of these kind of heating up and building up and kind of resurgence of her success in China is about Weibo, and we actually were planning to do a show with her, but because of timing and all that, we haven't come to that. But I'm pretty sure that we'll do one with Cindy very soon. So the social side of aspect in China that is pushed and kind of resurged in a lot of the artists during also the TME live shows is something that we are closely monitoring, and then we're happy and proud to say that a lot of the artists, hasn't been, it's been down a little bit, I think, in the past few years, but, through the TME live shows and also the social media influence, they have actually gone up and become a lot more influential over the past 3 years. So happy to say that. And what we are trying to do is offer a platform so a lot of the artists, whether it's domestic or international, can come on board and share the success, create a new business model, and then even if they are not in China, they can actually try to do something different and achieve different things in China together with us. So we are actually bringing a lot of different approaches, as I mentioned, sponsorships being one. So on the left, this is JCJ, we did with Sprite, and then on the right, which is a Korean artist that we did with a chewing gum brand, local chewing gum brand. So all different models, but sponsorships being one. And then fans pay to watch, so we also have developed the multicam and high definition options, so users can come in without maybe paying a dime in, just to watch the normal show. But if they want to kind of watch different angles and higher definitions, and they want to buy tickets for their friends and family, so they can do that. So we also created this model which fans can actually spend more money to get a better experience and to involve more people, but they can also just watch the show and without paying any money, but that will kind of lower the entry barrier and yet at the same time give a pathway to more business model and revenue for the artist. And we also create a merchandise business with a lot of different artists. On the screen, this is Jay Chow. This is his kind of cartoon-alike character called Student J. And we work with this team and created a lot of merchandise around it. Since last year, we did this about a year ago with TMEA, our music award show. And this sales of Student J's merchandise in China has been very, very successful. And similar model we are also now applying to the other artists as well. So during a live show, we actually have a pop-out link and screen, a pop-out link people can click on, and then it will hop to another screen where they can actually order these merchandise very easily and pay for them very easily with WeChat Pay and all that, and just kind of come back to the show and continue to watch it. But the music will not stop while they're purchasing all these artists. So we've created experience for a lot of artists to try to achieve different business models rather than just sponsorship or selling tickets. Merchandise is also being one of those. And then while we're doing all these different business models, we're also trying to create a better experience for the fans. So how do we kind of shift people from a very offline kind of experience and background which they are very used to online, and in the future more of an online offline experience. So we just recently did with Joaquin Chow, which is a big artist in Taiwan, and we did a lot of the voting, so users can actually vote for what they want to hear, listen, and a lot of that actually had a lot of interaction interactiveness in between the artists and also the audience, and that also created opportunity for the sponsors as well, so that during these interactions in between the fans and also the artist, you know, we will have more angle to advertise their brands during the show as well. So this is also another thing that we recently achieved together with Joaquin and his team in Taiwan. And obviously this year, for All That Matters, there is a Meta Matters topic out there. So TME also launched our TME Land, which is our metaverse last year. And we have also delivered about 10 shows so far. One of those few big brands I work with is Pepsi and also Adidas. We work with J-Park on the Korean artists on the Adidas co-branding events. Obviously, TME Land being a new metaverse, less than a year old, we're still trying a lot of different things, but we're seeing a lot of good opportunities out there. A lot of brands really like it. I think they're trying to grab the younger audience's hearts. So a lot of things that we're trying and experimenting out there, and we're seeing some tractions, and hopefully there will be more bigger names and bigger events happening very soon for TME Land as well. So anything that anyone in this audience and out there has in mind about doing a metaverse concert in China, you're welcome to come and have a word with us. This is still new versus the TME Live which I just introduced. We did 300 shows already. The TME Land is only less than 10 shows, but again, we're getting a lot of tractions. A lot of brands really love it. I think, you know, they're trying to be a bit of a kind of a younger youth movement in China, and Tomorrowland, TME Land, and also the metaverse is one of the angle. And mentioned about Tomorrowland, obviously that's something that we are deeply looking into to see how we can bring similar type of experience in China for our audience going forward, online and offline. So there will be a lot of things to come going forward. And also on a technology part, I'd like to quickly introduce about how we can make a lot of the old contents better. So if you look at on the left, the red poster, which is Leslie Chong, one of the legendary artists out of Hong Kong. He passed away obviously many years ago. What we did is we actually took a recorded concert from 30 years ago from Polygram. And you see on the top right corner, there's before and after images. So before we did the high definition restoration work on it through the Tencent technology, it was very blurry, obviously because it was recorded 30 years ago, without the high definition technology and recording equipment. And then after our high definition restoration technology applied to it, you can see after that we're getting a very, very good image. So it was a very amazing show. A lot of people was so amazed that they can see Leslie's face so clearly after all these years. So again, that's something to show that not only the newer contents that we are recording or producing, but the older contents, which, as I said, 90% or maybe 99% of people in China has never seen it before. New generations or people who back 30 years ago had no access of media, television, not to mention internet, of course. So basically, to a lot of these people, these contents are brand new. They've never seen it before. So to deliver it this way is something that our technology is really helping out a lot of the content owners in this angle. For Les Chon is the Polygram team, right? And then also for Jay Chow, although the show were recorded in 2008 and 2013, they're not exactly that new, 9 years old and 14 years old. But again, and they didn't actually need the high definition restoration. But what we were able to do is to show the show in a different way, that it was not only using the clips or the video that was recorded back then, but to blend it into a experience where online a lot of people feel it's very, very natural. They can actually have a lot of commenting. They can actually share with friends. They can actually also look at different angles and all that. So even if there's something that's just out there is already available, we can actually bring it back and then produce something out of it, rather than just kind of sitting there and watching something that is something I guess you can actually buy a Blu-ray disc and enjoy at home, but we're actually trying to turn it into a more interactive experience. So that's also something that we're doing for the artist. So on a closing note, I believe there's a lot of cooperation opportunities for artists and labels and managers and whoever out there. And we welcome all these collaborations with us in TME Live in China. As I mentioned, we have a lot of things going on. We're continuing to push things forward and try to evolve what we do and create more business model. So what we are trying to eventually achieve is that even without your artists coming to China, we can help them to create some kind of business model, business opportunity in China. So the world after the pandemic can evolve into something that's a lot easier, a lot more imaginative. So, getting visas and travelings, and nowadays maybe in China is still difficult. Obviously, hopefully it will open up again pretty soon. But even without doing that, what we're trying to do is to achieve or create something that it can happen anywhere in the world, and you have a big audience of the Chinese audience in front of you, in front of your screen, and you can create business model and opportunities out of it. Thank you. Thank you. And the final slide is, this is Victoria is in my team. So if anyone wants to outreach to her about business opportunities and how we can collaborate together going forward, please reach out to Victoria. She's the one person in my team who can speak English and hopefully can attend to your business requirements. Thank you.